We are breaking in this morning for an update on the deadly tornadoes that hit several communities in Kentucky. Governor Andy Beshear is in London holding a news conference on the state's response. Let's listen in.
What we see is what we always see after these terrible events. We see people rallying around each other. We see people giving the shirts off their backs, though we do not need any more used clothes. We see people turning out and making sure that they are there for their fellow human being. Both of these sites are amazing. Yesterday, in what was a completely empty building, it is now humming with life with all types of help and donations for people that need it. At the other one out here at the airport, the ability to drive through and get the supplies you need very quickly to get to your home or the place that you're staying. On Saturday, I was here with local officials to get a firsthand look at the community here at the airport and at the Sunshine Subdivision. Let me just say that this tornado event is devastating. There's no other way to describe the destruction and the death that it brought to this community. But just a couple days later, you do see the best of life, the best of humanity, not just here in Kentucky where so many people have come in, but to every partner from around the world that is here helping our people. Thank you. Thank you for coming to Kentucky. On Sunday, we got the tough news that deaths from this storm had risen to 19 with the addition of a woman from Russell County. That's where we still are today. Thankfully, have not lost anyone additional, at least through the process that goes through the Department of Public Health. So please join Brittany and me in praying for each and every one of those families. Some good news on those that are in the hospital. We now have 8 people still at UK. That's down from 10. 2 are still in critical condition. That's down from originally 10. 2 are in serious and 4 are in good condition. So thank you to all of our healthcare professionals that are helping to heal those that were harmed and rushed to their hospitals. A lot of Kentuckians are hurting right now. Whether you are in the path of these tornadoes or you're watching what has happened to your fellow Kentuckian, there's going to be a lot of need. From paying for funerals to helping rebuild, every dollar donated to the Team Kentucky Storm Relief Fund goes directly to survivors, and I know there are a lot of other great funds that are represented here today too. So I'm back today to give an update on where we stand on the storm response. And let me say, things are moving as fast, if not faster here in the response than I have seen in any of the 14 weather-related disasters since I've become governor. First, I can report that just this morning, we have submitted the application to the federal government for individual and public assistance. This is one of the fastest applications we have ever been able to submit, and we want to thank Kentucky Emergency Operations Center. We want to thank all of our local partners for helping us to get the initial investigation and data collection done as quickly as possible. In this initial application, we've asked for 8 counties to receive individual assistance and 25 counties to receive public assistance. Now, with every one of these applications, we always add counties later. This is the initial set of counties that we had the most information on, that we believe we can get to a yes as quickly as possible. The 8 counties that we've requested individual assistance include Caldwell, Christian, Laurel, Pulaski, Russell, Todd, Trigg, and Union counties. The public assistance counties that we have requested include Butler, Caldwell, Casey, Clinton, Estill, Jackson, Knox, Lee, Leslie, Logan, LaRue, Lyon, McCreary, Rockcastle, Trigg, Wayne, Whitley, Warren, Christian, Clay, Laurel, Pulaski, Russell, Todd, and Union. And again, to clarify, we will have the opportunity to add additional counties as we have done in the other 2 natural disasters that we've received FEMA aid for this year alone. Second, we're hard at work securing not just more emergency housing options, because I'm going to talk about severe weather that's coming this way, but also already hard at work on the intermediate housing options. So the emergency housing options, we've got two major shelters right now. The first is at 203 South Broad Street in London. That's the Laurel County Sheriff's Office. They're going to open tonight for anybody who needs to come for the severe weather. I know there's a second location that will be open at West London Baptist Church at 360 Parker Road in London. These are really important for when we start talking about weather in a minute. Our intermediate program is our travel trailer program. You may have seen these after the 2021 tornadoes, the 2022 floods, and we are already well on our way moving that program as fast as we've ever seen. We have an agreement with Louisiana for 90 trailers that are going to be headed this way, and we're purchasing more. We're going to have an initial start of 100 travel trailers. Thankfully, Levi Jackson Park here locally has the best infrastructure for these trailers that we have seen in a natural disaster area. And so we're going to be able to hook these up faster and get people in them quicker than any of the disasters in the past. With this disaster, we currently have 20 people in congregate shelters, 16 in Airbnbs. Thank you to Airbnb that has donated some room nights for this natural disaster like the last. And we have 65 individuals in hotels. Combined with these three natural disasters, just in the first part of this year, we have a total of 903 people in our overall sheltering program. From this event, Kentucky State Parks is sheltering 12 people at Cumberland Falls, occupying 4 rooms. We're grateful for them. This travel trailer program is important because we know that while we are just days after the trauma, that there's going to be a long rebuilding process. And we want to make sure that people aren't worried about just where they're staying tonight, but that they don't have to worry about where they'll stay next month and the months to come. We'll have that program set up on how to apply. Those that are already in our congregate sheltering program will be able to apply, and we'll be reaching out to them. Next piece, debris removal. You can hear it outside. Both the county and the city have worked really hard, especially around this airport, to start. And we are working on finalizing contractual details, working with our local partners to really get it moving in earnest. It is going to be a significant debris removal program. It's going to be in the tens of millions of dollars if it doesn't end up reaching $100 million. So that's a brief update on all those things that are working right now. The most important thing for people to know today across Kentucky, but especially here, is we have another round of severe weather that is going to hit Kentucky beginning at about 2 p.m. in the west and be in Kentucky until 11 p.m. or midnight. It's expected to be here today in London and in Somerset, really between 8 and 10 p.m. is when we expect it to be its worst. We expect thunderstorms to start here shortly. We might even see some lightning, but that storm that is coming in tonight is incredibly dangerous. It's about the same type of forecast that led to what we saw happen here Saturday night, Sunday morning, but in the very least, we are going to see 60-mile-per-hour winds right around where we are right now. When you think about the debris that's out there, it creates a very dangerous set of conditions where we have projectiles that could cause anyone and everyone harm, whether their home is still standing or not. We also have structures that may not be able to stand up to that extra wind. So with that, the mayor, the judge, the sheriff, the police chief, and I all consulted, and we agree that conditions are so bad, we're working on an evacuation plan for these 2 hard-hit neighborhoods. An evacuation that begins at 6 p.m., which is when we'll need everybody out of those neighborhoods, and hopefully will end by 11 p.m. when they can get back in the neighborhoods, though the judge and the mayor, the chief and the sheriff may need to extend it depending on the weather. It is simply unsafe to be around that much debris with this level of wind. There's also a dangerous risk for hail, and there is another risk for tornadoes. The tornado risk is the biggest in the West, but that was the case when we got hit here. So we need everybody to be weather aware. We need everybody to have a place to go tonight, preferably that has a basement. We need everybody to make their plan right now. Hopefully we can get you back where you are if it's unsafe before you go to bed tonight, but we do not want to lose one more person to the weather coming. I know to those that have already been traumatized, it seems unfair. How could you get hit by an EF3 or maybe an EF4 tornado and then 2 days later get hit by what could be the same? We don't get to be tired. We've got to be strong. And so if you know folks that are struggling, please put your arms around them. Please invite them into your home. Please get them to the shelters. I know the mayor and the judge are going to talk about some other plans to transport people. We just need everybody to be safe tonight. We also have a little bit of good news for here, but a little concerning news for Central Kentucky. And that's that the Central Kentucky NOAA weather radios are in a upgrade right now and aren't going to work. So if you're in Central Kentucky, if you're in Louisville, Lexington, and the surrounding area, you need another way to get your alerts. Thankfully, I learned this morning that weather radios should work here in London. But what I would ask everybody is, we got hit when we were asleep last time. Let's make sure we see this entire storm through and that we know everybody is safe tonight before we go to bed. Please have your phones charged, and please have a plan to get to a shelter if need be. Kentucky emergency management teams are also still on the ground. They're continuing to survey and document damage. The documentation is how we improve and amend our application and make sure our people get all the help they can. For survivors, while it is still nice enough outside to be outside, and before it gets dangerous, document everything you can. Take as many pictures as you can. Go ahead and file your insurance claim, because if and when we get FEMA assistance, they're going to ask that you go through that insurance process first. I would suggest you go ahead and do that. Keep the receipts for cleaning equipment that you've purchased. And the more information you have, the easier the FEMA process will be. I'd even say if you can see the serial number on some of your appliances that have been destroyed, make sure you get it. The more detail you have, the better that process will go. Like I said, we've had more than our fair share of natural disasters. It feels tough for our state to be facing this level of hurt again, but our job is to show each other love, to show up for members of this community just as strong as we've shown up for every other community, not to allow ourselves to be tired, knowing that any family hurt in this natural disaster deserve every bit of effort we've provided to any other family impacted by a natural disaster. A huge thank you goes out to our first responders. That's emergency management on the state and the local level, the Kentucky National Guard, state police, our local city police, and our county sheriff and sheriff's deputies, Fish and Wildlife. I want to thank the Kentucky coroners that are out there. We had to bring in extra help for this one. We had to bring in trucks for this one. It's really hard, even if that's their normal day job, to see the level of death and destruction that we've had here. And so we want to thank them for their hard work, as well as the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet. Let me give you a little bit of good news. On power outages, we're now down to just 4,628. Our high was 170,000 plus outages, so thank you to our utility companies. Our drinking water is in pretty good shape. We only have 60 meters in the entire state without water and 2,100 under boiled water. I want to thank the Kentucky State Police for augmenting local law enforcement as well as the National Guard to make sure that no looting occurs. And let me say this again. If you try to loot, we will find you, we will arrest you, we will prosecute you, and we will treat you like the lowlife that you are if you are trying to take advantage of our people during this natural disaster and at their lowest moment. And if you're out tonight trying it, the weather's going to be really bad and you're going to end up significantly hurt. roads and bridges, we continue to open more. We've got more than 200 crew members from Laurel, Pulaski, and the surrounding counties that are putting in 16-hour days, chainsaw teams that are continuing to clear roads that have been covered, but do use some precautions. First, make sure you get online and check that the route that you are traveling, if you're in one of these areas, is open. Do that before you leave. And second, during this weather event that's coming our way, stay off the roads during that period of time where your area is going to get hit. Now, when you look at what happened here, we needed the roads open for first responders who did such brave work, and we want to make sure that we don't have issues like we had on I-75 with people trying to pull over and look at what had happened to our people. That can't be happening during these weather events, or we'll end up with more fatalities. So let me say again, I'm here to make the same promise to the people of these communities that have been impacted that I've made every single time we've had a natural disaster. We aren't going anywhere. We're going to be here until every home, every structure, and every life is rebuilt. You are going to get our very best effort and the benefit of everything we've learned from each and every one of these. What we are seeing on the stabilization and recovery is moving as fast as I've seen it, not just in Kentucky, but anywhere else. But our goal is to do better and better, because folks that have been through the worst deserve the best. With that, I'll turn it over to Eric, who heads our emergency management, and then you're going to hear from a number of local officials. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, sir. All right, well, the governors give a good update on the ongoing efforts that are going on here in London and across the state with this cleanup effort. I will say there's a sense of urgency at Kentucky Emergency Management. There's no doubt. Any of you all have surveyed this damage, you know how severe it is and how badly the residents in this community need our assistance, and we're working really at a quick pace. The staff back in the office are drafting these documents to get those requests in that have been submitted for our declaration request. And yesterday alone, we sent 10 different teams out doing the damage assessments into all of the impacted areas. Meanwhile, we had other members of the team down here in this area supporting the local officials, making sure they're getting what they need. And just one day, the damages that they were able to document were well beyond what we believe is enough for the president to make a positive determination that Kentucky definitely needs this declaration in place. When you look at the disaster, you all have seen it, and it's our job to be able to tell that story. We've documented just very, very quickly in one day hundreds of homes across the Commonwealth. The public assistance is required for all of the utility repairs and all the other damages and emergency work that's gone on and just in the initial phase of this recovery. Kentucky Emergency Management's built around some principles: prepare, respond, and recover. And at this time, we're involved in all of that. We're preparing for the next disaster that we could have tonight. By operating our emergency operations center. We're staffed at a level 3, which just means that we're in person. We're ready to take those calls from those counties. We'll be monitoring this weather. We'll be notifying our local officials about things that are going on, and we're there to receive those resource requests as they come in, to kind of fill in anything that they're short of, to make sure that they have what they need, if that be rescue teams or whatever be the need, water or food for their citizens. As we respond, we have responders in the field out doing the work along with these local officials. We're supporting them in their role because this is an extremely large event. So we bring in these incident management teams and we allow them to augment those local officials in a way that gives them some hands and feet to get the work done that they see that needs to be done. And we're also in this recovery phase, and that recovery phase, excuse me, is ongoing as we talk about doing the damage assessments, and those are going to continue. It's not because we're done with them. It's only because we met a number that is clearly easy for anyone to see that this disaster needs some federal assistance. And I think that's where we're at today. At the close of business yesterday, give us time to draft those documents, get the work back at the office. Ms. Roby does an excellent job at putting those documents together, and really we've leaned in hard on this one, probably more than we ever have. The governor was talking to you about how quickly we moved on this, and the urgency is because that's what's needed. Not that those other disasters didn't need that same sense of urgency, but we have exercised this program so many times, we're becoming more familiar with the process, what FEMA needs from us and what we need to get on paper so that we can properly document these disasters. So we've worked at not that this one is different than those others, all these disasters are these people's worst day, but we're figuring out disaster after disaster how we can quickly meet the needs of what the documents require, multiplying our forces going out in the field, collecting this damage. So anyway, that's the work that Kentucky Emergency Management has got going on. I just had the team back in the office today as we were down here visiting, collect some numbers, and I think it's just incredible to think that we have so many people in shelter from the last disasters. I look back and we have people in shelter. We have almost 900 people in shelter right now in the Commonwealth of Kentucky in our Commonwealth Sheltering Program that we run. And that can be Airbnb, that can be motel, that can also be our travel trailer mission, state parks. So many partners make that possible, but have 900 people in shelter as a state like Kentucky, I think says a lot. And FEMA does support those missions. So that's something that we do as a state-led, federally supported mission, which I believe meets those marks that you would expect us to be having. As we talk about this, I want to make sure that I share with you our phone number. This is going to reach our unmet needs group that will answer your call if you are a person in need of shelter and you're hearing this message and you're in this storm. Remember, this is storm recovery. 502-607-6665. That's 502-607-6665, and that'll get you to our unmet needs hotline. There's someone there to answer your call. They'll take your information. You'll be reached. Someone in our agency will be reaching back out to you, and they'll help you with coordinating that shelter if you're in need of shelter tonight. We've been working through, I'm just looking down my notes that they sent. We've been working with our volunteer agencies. There's over 150 organizations reached out to my agency alone asking to come to Kentucky to support or be in Kentucky and support local, state, and national agencies that are coming in. So just incredible response, and that's thanks to you all as you all continue to spread the message across the nation of the damage that's happened here in Kentucky. We see this response, and you know, we're only humbled by the fact that people are willing to come forward. But we're not surprised at the same time. We're very humbled but not surprised because we know that Kentuckians help Kentuckians often throughout many of these disasters. I look through our notes that I need to make sure I'm sharing with you. Disaster 4860. That open period to register is coming to an end. And as we have disaster survivors all across the Commonwealth at this point, that's that Eastern Kentucky flood that happened back in February. Just note that that registration is ending soon. Those DRCs will be closing soon. We're going to leave 3 of those open in the areas of Pikeville, Prestonsburg, and down in Hazard to meet those needs of any appeals that are going on. Disaster 4864, excuse me again, I apologize. June 25th is the last day to register currently. That may be extended due to this new disaster interfering with the operational period of that. But as I want to make sure we're sharing that because we have disaster survivors all across the Commonwealth that'll be curious about the information, and we want to let them know we're still opening DRCs on that last disaster from back in April. Those are your disaster recovery centers where people can go to apply for assistance and get their questions answered if they have them. Just looking back over some of the things that I wanted to share with you all personally. The EOC, just to talk about these storms, we've been operational in the center for 58 of the 134 days of this year. If that starts to set an idea of how busy this storm season has been, 58 days we've had the operations center open. I've come before you all and provided this almost similar brief. We're open again, we're open again, we're open again, and we are. We're there. The staff that work for me have put in many, many long hours over this weekend, and many thanks to them. And I just want to take that opportunity to recognize those 58 days. And they have a blue sky job. Please understand, that's not their only job. They have other duties, but they set those aside to take care of the operations center for 58 of the 134 days. Just looking through our notes, this year, this adds up to the 60th fatality that we've documented in these storms. And that's an incredible number for this early in the year, in my opinion. And as we continue to talk about it, and the storm relief fund that the governor operates meets those families where they need at that funeral home to make sure that there's ability to get those funerals paid for. So please remember that if you're out there and you're looking for an opportunity. But we have more funerals to pay for, so we want to make sure that we continue to talk that through. Just as we continue to work through this, I've had so much support from all of our agencies across the the state. There's no way every time I stand up here I think, man, I should have forgot to mention their name. And I didn't say anything about the coroners the other day, and the governor covered it earlier, but I had that written down here. We've asked people from all across state government to come to the aid and help us document this storm. The Revenue Cabinet, they stood up an effort yesterday to just arrange a flight to document this, to help work with the local PVAs. We use a lot of resources across state government, and that's what our agency is for, is to coordinate the response, to help in the recovery. And you just don't realize how many state agencies that I could thank in this effort. The Transportation Cabinet's always there to help get these roads clear so we can get these first responders in. The National Guard, we just continue to call on them. And they're volunteers, and they're in there doing their work. I've had calls from across the nation from state directors asking how they can help. And sometimes they're even surprised that Kentucky has been able to send its own resources to aid in this recovery by all those fire departments, showing up here in London, hundreds of firemen to help in this search efforts and recovery of these folks that have been impacted in this event. But those state directors across the nation stand ready to support us as well as FEMA. I will say, FEMA's here on this other disaster, the 4864, 4860 disasters, but they stand ready to support. They will do everything in their power to help us anytime they can. And I want to say that thanks to them as well as they've helped in the EOC, just making sure that my staff at least get a short break between shifts. So many thanks to them. I've heard stories all along this, and you all have done an excellent job. I'm looking at the media and saying this and reporting how this disaster has played out and how there's so many stories of heroism and just the work that's gone into it. And I reflect a little bit the night of that storm, and I'm in that EOC and seeing this storm unfold, and we're seeing this tornado and the Weather Service sitting shoulder to shoulder, and from his point of view, he can see that there's a debris ball starting to come from this storm, and we determined that it was pretty likely that there was impact here in London, Somerset, both. And some of the first people I talked to on the phone were the state troopers that are in this area. I'm retired from the state police, and I know those guys personally, and they're calling me, and we're talking, and I can actually hear them out running these neighborhoods, pulling people from these houses, and that's a real world impact that's going on, and that gives that information about what needs to be done. So many thanks to those guys, all the first responders that came in here, and the trauma that they've been through on this event. Hopefully I provided a good update about the EOC and the operations that are going on, and there's plenty of other people to provide you information, but I do appreciate your all's time today. Thank you very much.
Wanted to provide one clarification and then turn it over to the judge. The director talked about the other two natural disasters that we've had that qualified for different forms of assistance that have disaster recovery centers open. If you've been impacted by this natural disaster, we have not yet been approved by FEMA for that assistance. We've applied today, and we'll get the news out when we hear from it. But what that means is if you're here in London or in Union County and you've been impacted and you get on and apply right now, you're going to get denied. It hasn't opened up, hasn't been by the federal government for this one. So just making sure that we are very specific with people that if you've been impacted by this storm, what you do right now is document. Take as many photographs as you can. And if and when we get approved, we'll let you know. We'll open that disaster recovery center here, and you can start doing your applications then. I'm going to turn it over to the county judge executive, then we'll hear from the mayor and others.
I'm David Westerfield, the Laurel County Judge Executive, and first off, I want to thank you, the news media, for being here. You have enough interest to share our words with the people across the state, and I do thank you all for that. Last Friday night, as you all know, we had another bad storm. That was our second tornado that we've had since I've been in office, and this is much worse than the one we had in 2012. But we have been so overwhelmed with the people throughout this state, first responders most of all. They came from all over the state here to help us in the recovery stage, and we thank them so much. And today we are facing another issue. You know, they're projecting we could have a similar or same type of storm that we had Friday night, and that's the reason I have agreed with the rest of the elected officials to enforce a mandatory evacuation. We want to save your lives. You know, this debris, when it goes airborne, you never know where it may go. You know, it can come through even the side of your home, and It's devastating. We have a lot of homes out there that could possibly be damaged enough that they may not be as safe as they once were. So just please work with us, and we want to keep you all safe. 5 or 6 hours and it'll be over. And I know the mayor has transportation scheduled, and also I have RTEC waiting. And if anybody out there is viewing this today and you need us, RTEC, to pick you up, please call my office, call the sheriff's office, call the dispatch center, and we will get that done. And also, we have opened and removed everything from the parking garage downtown, which is a very secure concrete structure, and we're going to use that for the people that wants to come there for shelter. So please take advantage of everything and work with us, and let's keep everybody alive. And I appreciate y'all, and thank y'all, and have a good day.
My name is Randall Weddle. I'm the mayor of the City of London. I'd like to first appreciate the media and, of course, the state for their partnership in the last few days. So today, we, as you have seen out here at the city's our operation for the debris and stuff, and place where we're taking stuff out to the victims, supplies, food, and stuff like that. We're going to be transitioned from going out doing that, serving supplies, that we will start picking individuals up out of this affected area. We're going to have school buses at our command post here at the airport that will transport you to the different sites. The London Community Center will be one of them. We've partnered with the American Red Cross, and I know they've got a couple different locations as well. But you will transport the people that's been impacted into these locations, as well as the city's relief team that has been out serving the food every day. I've instructed all the city team across the city to use the city vehicles to pick up individuals that may need help. We're going to take this serious. We want people to take this storm serious. We've seen the impact that it's had on the city and our county, and we don't want to just take it for granted. They're saying that it's possibly, you've heard it here, that it's possibly the same type of storm system, and we don't want to lose anybody. But one of the biggest concerns that we have is that you're in this debris and high winds, and it becomes a projectile, and it injures or kills. So all the officials, we're going to mandate that you not be there. So you will see the city police out in force, telling individuals to leave those areas, and we're going to provide that transportation. The city has the operations number out. You can also call the dispatch center at 606-878-7000. If you're needing transportation, we're going to come to you. And we just appreciate all the partnerships across the board. This has been traumatic. This has been devastating for our community, but the partnership with the state, the response from the state has been tremendous, and it's been huge for a city and a county like ourselves. And I just want to thank everybody and thank the governor and his team for everything they've done. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Sheriff John Root. I just want to thank you guys for covering this. And I want to give a special thanks to the governor. He's been on the phone with us, and I think he's been to every site here, and he's really come through for us. And Governor, we thank you for that. This tonight, the mandatory evacuation, there's going to be people that's not going to like the thoughts of mandatory. And each of these officials behind me, we've gathered together, we've put our heads together, and I want you to know that this is for the safety of our community. It's nothing we're trying to force you to do. As already has been discussed, the debris, it will be a very dangerous situation if we get the weather that's anticipated. Be weather alert, be aware. The sheriff's office will be out in full force as well the way we've done the whole entire time. If you need a ride or whatever, just listen, jump in the cruiser, we'll load you up, we'll take you wherever. There's also other sources, so utilize that. And in closing here with you guys, I just want to plainly ask you, the public, these news stations here that's monitoring this, we need prayers. We need prayers for the people that's been affected. We need prayers for today. So thank you for covering this, and thank each and every one back here for having a game plan for us.
Lynn Washbish, the Executive Director with the Red Cross. Thank you, Governor Beshear, for continuing to partner with us. We too have been here since the beginning. We have over 90 Red Crossers on the ground from all around, here to help and support those that have been devastated by these tornadoes. You can go to 1-800-RED Cross and you can find all of our shelters that are open. We've been out in the communities feeding, providing comfort, care, cleanup kits, comfort kits, the necessities that people need right now to help them get through this amazing natural disaster. We are here to help and support, and we will continue to. We have resources to provide assistance, and we ask people to go to 1-800-RED Cross and get in our system so that we can be there and help you all get through this. Thank you all very much for all your support.
Good afternoon, and thank you all for being here. I'm Donna Baker McClure. I'm the Eastern Kentucky Field Representative for United States Senator Mitch McConnell. All that I would like to add is that Senator McConnell and Congressman Rogers and our offices have been working together with the governor's office to support the FEMA declaration for our community. As a survivor, I'd also want to add thank you to our local electric companies, water companies, and all those people that work diligently to get those services restored to the community. Thanks to all of our local churches and all the outside groups that have come into our community to provide food, shelters, tarps to help us prepare for tonight's storm also. And if there's any way that Senator McConnell's office can be assistance to anyone, please feel free to reach out to us. We have an office here in London, and that number is 606-864-2026. Thank you.
Carlos Cameron, I'm District Director for Congressman Rogers. As the Sheriff said, first and foremost, Congressman Rogers' prayers and thoughts are going out to the families and those who have lost loved ones and been injured. We've seen the worst that we can experience here in the district, but we've also seen the best from the outpouring of support from around the state, federal level, state level, and the local level, and we're so proud to be a part of it. Congressman Rogers is leading the charge to try to get this declaration ushered through. Our staff stands ready. Once we move through this initial recovery, we're available to help restore all of our citizens back to their fullness of life. And if anybody needs to reach out to our office moving forward after this initial recovery, they can call 606-679-8346, and we have staff ready to assist in whatever way we can. Thank you.
I'd close by saying that this application is one that I'm optimistic on, both sadly because of the amount of damage. It's hopefully obvious. Also because our federal delegations have been highly effective at calling and advising the White House to where both of the other natural disasters have received favorable rulings. Also wanted to say I got a call from the president himself right after our last press conference on Sunday, and he pledged to be there for the people of Kentucky. I was grateful for that call, and I'm grateful for the commitment. So with that, we'll open it up to questions. Yeah.
Are tracking similarly to what you mentioned about the storm later on this evening and the time frame that it's going to hit. We know that Friday's tornado hit around 11 to 12 o'clock at night. Very, very dark outside. A similar pattern to what potentially could happen tonight in pure darkness. What is your recommendation for folks? Again, all seek shelter.
Yes.
But what else do you so late at night and in the dark?
So my suggestion to everyone out there is be weather aware. Know when it's going to hit your community and give it a couple hours on each side. Make sure you're watching your meteorologist. Make sure you're getting news about the weather. Watch it in real time. Make sure that if you can, you stay up until it's over, because this one we think will be out by about 11 or midnight. If you got kids and you got a basement, let them sleep in the basement while you make sure this weather system is passed. When you lose 19 people in the tragic way that happened here, you just don't want to lose anymore. And you see the decision made by all of these officials, especially in areas that have huge amounts of debris. We are erring on the side of safety, even if it's not popular, because we're going to put the lives of our people first.
Governor, do you think everyone has been accounted for yet, or is there still a potential for fatality?
We believe that everyone has been accounted for, though there are still people in critical condition in the hospitals. And at least through the information systems that we have, we believe everybody's been counted.
Governor, do you expect a safe fund?
Let me start over here, and then we'll.
Governor, we saw how destructive the tornadoes were. What worries you the most about this next round?
What worries me about this next round, especially here, is the amount of debris that you don't have to have a tornado. We know we're going to have really high winds. So we know each one of these 2 neighborhoods that got hit are going to be incredibly dangerous to be out on foot, to be in a home, even to be in a car. I know a story, sadly, where we lost a woman whose home is generally okay, but it was debris that took her life, and we don't want that to happen to anybody else. To anybody that's out there that the storm didn't hit as hard the last time, it might hit hard this time. So again, we need everyone across Kentucky, because it's going to impact everyone, to be weather aware. Once again, it looks like Western Kentucky is under the most severe threat, but it was Saturday going into Sunday as well. So it can hit any place at any time with devastating consequences. So let's be ready for it.
Governor, do you expect a safe fund to be established for this disaster? And what would the additional funding that Senator Stivers talked about on Saturday, would that be a special session, or how would that work?
So what President Stivers was talking about the other day was really just what type of application we do to the federal government. There's not a $5 million pot that's sitting out there, but we've worked through those conversations. We'll see about the SAFE Fund. We have the funds to address the immediate, the next several days to weeks, but we've had a commitment from everyone, from the federal level to the state level. I'm not worried about funding not being there. Is it possible that we'll need a special session? Possibly, but not there yet.
Governor, can you explain to us in detail the process to get assistance from FEMA? It seems that the reaction from our viewers were immediately, day of, Saturdays and Sundays, was, where is FEMA? Where is FEMA? What do you have to say to that?
So to get FEMA assistance, you have to meet a certain damage threshold, and you have to provide evidence of that damage threshold. So we can't get to that threshold without having the teams that go out, that take their own pictures, that get the damage estimates, the satellite imagery, the flyovers that it takes. Now, it is very rare that you would see individual assistance approved within a week, sometimes even within 2 weeks, though we have seen a more compressed time frame. So what I'd ask everybody right now is take the help that's out there. If you need a shelter, go to it. Talk to our state-run programs that are out right now doing the work, but we are working as hard and fast to get FEMA here, to get that application approved. And if you're spending your time now documenting, then hopefully you can get through that process the first time. What can happen is someone rushes their FEMA application and gets denied, and that hurts, especially if you've already been traumatized. So make sure you're collecting all that info.
Governor, can you address concerns and rumors about staffing cuts at the National Weather Service and how they had to bring in potentially extra staff to address these storms?
Well, we got a heads up that we would have a bad weather system, just like we have a heads up that one is coming in now. I don't think staffing concerns caused an issue in our preparation for this one. But am I concerned about it in the future? Yes. Yes. I mean, these are the people that give us in flooding disasters a week, 5 days, and we pre-position assets that are out there. I just think this is a basic public safety expenditure, and I hope we can get back to the levels where we will always have 24/7 coverage.
How frequently are these issues?
Rarely. It's that serious. I mean, when was the last time that we had 2 neighborhoods devastated by a tornado that's going to have 60-mile-an-hour wind coming, about 48 hours after? But I think everybody is going to understand. And with all the loss of life in those 2 neighborhoods, nobody's going to want to be in them that night. But what we've got to do, and what the mayor and everybody else is doing a great job of, is have every asset there that they can take advantage of. They can get a ride in any way possible, and all we got to do is ride it out until about 11. Hopefully it'll be through here by then, and then people can return if they so choose. But let's just make sure they're safe. When you look at all these piles where that stuff is going to be whipping through the air, we just want to make sure that we don't lose anybody else. Karen?
Governor, how stretched then are our resources, especially first responders going into the next, say, 12, 24 hours?
Are we stretched thin? Yes, but these guys and women are amazing. I mean, they're ready. They're ready, even as tired as they are, some of them with damage to their own home. This is what they do, and this is why we ought to thank them every single time. If you see them before the storm comes in, thank them, because we need them tonight. We'll need them tomorrow, and we'll need them the next time. I have no doubt that every first responder here is ready and will give it their all. Regardless of how tired they might be, that adrenaline will kick in, and they'll be out there saving lives if they're called on to do so.
Governor, on the mandatory evacuations, how are we going about this? How do people know on that? Are there people going door to door right now?
It's the two communities that are right here, the two neighborhoods that were hit hard, and you're going to see law enforcement and others going through those communities, especially leading up to 6 p.m. to let people know. But the folks who live in these two communities, they know.
And it's the debris that's causing this escalation in concern,
Yes.
right?
Yes, because in the this storm system could have long track tornadoes. It's going to have significant hail in certain places. It's going to have torrential rainfall that could cause flash flooding in different parts of Kentucky. Those are all coulds, and I think that at least some of those will happen in parts of Kentucky, but everywhere there's going to be high wind. So we absolutely know with certainty that it's going to be a dangerous condition in each of these two communities right around the airport.
Governor, you mentioned the threat of looting potentially in these communities. Can you or any of the law enforcement agencies behind you clarify if there has been any arrests yet concerned with looting?
Yeah, I'll turn it over to, I believe, here there has been an amazing law enforcement presence, a commitment by the state police. The Commissioner Burnett is here, who has brought extra resources. Other cities around Kentucky are sending resources, for instance, to Somerset, where they've augmented, where there were a couple of reports. But I believe that these law enforcement groups made the commitment to stop looting and have done so. Anybody? Sure.
To answer your question, yes, we have had reports of looting, and yes, there has been looting. As far as the rest, no, unfortunately not. Now, we put one camera system up in a very affected area, Sunshine Hills. We have 2 more of those coming that we're going to put in other affected areas. And, you know, they're just hard to catch. They're the low-life scoundrels that everybody knows they are. Sneaky. But like I say, you know, if they want to play, let them play. We're out in full force. All agencies, I want to thank the Commissioner of the State Police here. He's just been wonderful, the National Guard. But we are out, and if they are caught, we have talked with prosecutors, and I promise you one thing, they will be prosecuted to the fullest.
Governor, can you clarify the area that you're looking for this evacuation plan? Is this just London or is it Laurel County?
It's just here in London. And it's just these two neighborhoods really on the two sides of the airport. One is Sunshine Hills, and the other is this one right over here, isn't it? Yeah. So we're going to be moving throughout these two neighborhoods right after we break here, and we'll make sure that each of those residents knows. 6 to 11. Sorry. We believe that it'll probably come through at the worst from 8 to 9. But these storms sometimes move faster, they sometimes move slower, and so if these local officials feel like they need to extend it, I will fully support them in doing that. But that makes sure that we have just a little buffer to get people out, because the winds will start picking up, you know, before the major system comes through as well.
Looking at the clock, it was hours away from mandatory
Yeah.
evacuation. Do you have the resources to get people to safety? I know you mentioned the shelters that are available.
Everybody has already jumped into action, and that's why we're going to close it after this question. But yes, I believe that between the city, the county, the state police, bringing in the extra school buses, and everybody hopefully hearing from y'all that they need to get to safety tonight here, and everybody else needs a plan for safety across the Commonwealth, that we'll do everything we can to keep people safe. Thank you all very much.